defenders.
With eBay Refurbished, you have a choice of refurbished qualities to best fit your budget. Certified refurbished items are restored by the manufacturer to like new for up to 50% off. This drill was barely out of the box. Soon it will be back to working like new. Here's how it works. Every item is carefully inspected. Any imperfections are fixed by the manufacturer or manufacturer-approved vendor. Then it's tested to make sure it's working perfectly. Once it passes inspection, it's given the verified stamp of approval. Then repackaged with new accessories and shipped to its ultimate destination. With Certified Refurbished, you can shop with confidence because all our manufacturers go through a rigorous vetting process. And every purchase comes with an award-winning 2-year warranty, a money-back guarantee, and hassle-free returns. That's what makes it the smarter way to shop for premium brands. eBay Refurbished. Like new products, better than new prices.
And with that, 2 maps of our best of 5 here in the grand finals of the mid-season face-off is done. Last time that we got to see G2 face off on Fracture, it wasn't necessarily an inspiring performance, but this was such a 180. This was fantastic, but ultimately in the end, Tanner, not enough to be getting that victory up against M80.
Yeah, a difficult loss, obviously, especially when you have that comeback. When you look at that last round, it's a terrible way to go out, but it was a better showing from this G2 squad. This is more rounds in one game than we've seen in the 2 series or the 2 times they played this map previous.
You got to give them credit for making things look a little bit better on their defensive side. I do think that's where a lot of teams struggle on this map, just based on the way the map plays out. So it wasn't really all that surprising to see M80 come out and get a huge jump start with the lead being what it was. I'm glad that G2 at least kept it to 8-4 and thought there was really a world where we were going to see a comeback, maybe even overtime. If you noticed, there was that last round that was an eco. Like, if they win that, it's really, what, one more buy round? And that's it? Yeah. We're looking at, 12-11, and then it's OT. The fact that they lose to an eco and the way they lose to an eco as well, just kind of getting caught off guard, really weird positioning. Even some of the kills that you're like, oh, no, they dodged it. No, they didn't. You had, the shotgun up close. The jet dashes away, gets picked off by the player on site with a sheriff. So it is unfortunate that it ends that way for G2 because they did start to look so much better on that attacking side.
And the stats don't look horrible here for G2 when you look at the side of M80. This is exactly what they needed. After a tough loss in that first map, they needed a game where you're not just relying on Qualinoob and everybody does the job. So we have John Cutie sitting this MVP spot, but you see everybody relatively close, even score lines across the board. I think Xander, I think it was 12-10 or something of the sort, and Xander had 15 assists. So everybody really doing their part. It stings when you look at the stats for G2. In this 17-17 for Penny and the 14-17 for Dapper, it just took so long for them to get there. The slow start that we were expecting in map 1, we unfortunately got for G2 in map 2. And obviously, playing the Neon on the defense isn't going to be as easy as playing the Neon on attack. Yeah. But yeah, Penny felt a little uncomfortable in the first 4 rounds.
Just a little unfortunate with the side that G2 had to start, just in terms of being able to get Penny with that Neon online, but is what it is. They were still had a map under their belt before getting into this, so this is going to be the series tied up 1-1 now going on into this. We definitely knew that this had the potential to go all the way. We're trading map X, and now coming up next, it's G2 picking up Icebox.
I mean, just touching upon the Neon pick, I actually love the fact that we saw G2 flex a different composition, because one of the things that we've been talking about throughout this first split is how Penny often feels like he's been shoehorned into a role that he doesn't necessarily fully fit into. And while he does okay, it's not to say he's playing poorly. It's just, this is the Penny we know playing the duelist role, who plays so well. And yeah, the defensive half doesn't work out. He goes 6-9. He's got 155 ACS. Compare that to the attacking side, where playing Neon is a little bit more simple. The idea of diving at the attacking side from the defense kind of violates all flaws and core tenets of TAC FPS games. But on the attacking side, that's what you're going to do. You're breaking timing, you're getting in their faces, you're getting there fast. 260 ACS, 11 and 8. I like the fact that we got to see something a little bit different from them. And I don't think it's the last time we see something different from them. Moving into Icebox, I anticipate that what we will see will be the same as yesterday. I don't think that anyone's really going to change the mold moving into Icebox. The map's pretty stale. If we're being honest, the meta is pretty defined. It would be cool if somebody did, and I think there is a world where you could see Harbor make its way into this map, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I definitely don't think it'll happen for these two teams at the very least, especially now that the lead is on the line. If G2 came into this one, you know, up 2-0, maybe they would look to flex something because it's a map that M80 have looked good on. But going back and looking at M80's past on Icebox, they didn't play the strongest of teams. I know we had pretty high regards for Mad Lions. They beat Mad Lions. They also beat OR Esports, but you still have to give them a certain amount of respect once we look at Icebox. I'm excited to see. I know that I said that this was going to be the road bump, but thinking back to yesterday, Whippy was the player for G2 who really started to bring them back into the series. Icebox was that map, and it's also a map where Penny plays something that's not a duelist, but a role that all duelists basically have to play when they go to Icebox, right? If you're not getting your duelist pick, you're usually playing a Sage, and that's where Penny's going to be seated. So I do think that G2 still have a fighting chance on Icebox, but M80 have looked really strong on this map.
And it's not the only time that Penny plays Sage. He also fills that role on Split, which they're not going to get to play because we've already mentioned in the map pool it got vetoed out by M80, which is wise. They should have done that, as it's a map they've not played, and it's a map that G2 plays a lot. And even if they had some bumps yesterday, you just don't roll that dice. But I'm looking at Penny and I'm like, man, it does hurt to see him in these roles, but at least he knows what to do, right? Like, it's not like he comes in and he's like ham-fisted and he's like really struggling to use the utility. It just impacts his performance, and we do feel like ultimately he is playing down a little bit from what we would anticipate. However, when you look at the game they played yesterday on this map, you had mentioned it, like Whippy steps up, Shazam goes big on this map. It does largely feel like a Sova playground where Shazam can get back to his roots as a Sova and really do some significant damage. And they had a pretty strong showing yesterday against Oxygen. I do anticipate more success here on Icebox for G2. I think we'll be going into the next map after Icebox with a lead potentially for G2, as long as they can contain M80, which means basically contain Koala, which they've done a pretty decent job of so far.
Yeah, because even we got to see Shazam with the Sova earlier on Ascent, and already looking good there. So you're just going to go to another map that's just Sova player's dream. Well, then this definitely could be dangerous. The fact, too, that G2, they've been playing all of these games. They just got to come off of a really strong victory of this the other day. I feel like that says a lot just in terms of that momentum, and I definitely think, Tanner, I agree with Bach on this one. This could be a case where G2 could start to get that advantage.
It has to be, because the next map is Pearl. And, you know, it could be a 3-1 series. It could be M80 closing it out once we get out to map 4, just because of the way that Pearl has looked for both of these teams. Although M80 have kind of shown I guess weaknesses, it was mostly against the guard, and I think the biggest thing that we had kind of criticized them for when they were playing the guard, especially on Pearl, was they were getting away from what was working in previous. And I understand, you know, your set plays might not work against a better team, but they completely disregard it, and then it's a map that they're losing pretty convincingly. But then when we look at map 1 here in Ascent, it's obviously not Pearl, but it's another map for M80 where they could get away, right? They could just be slopping their side hits, hey, Koala, just dash and do whatever. But Bach had mentioned it while we were watching the game. They did a really good job in isolating fights with Util, fragment out towards Heaven, making sure things are smoked off, fighting that guy generator, having that another player swing generator while somebody swings Godbox. The player Dice is now dead. M80 were doing a really good job making sure that they're using all their pieces the way that they should. And obviously, once we move out towards Icebox, that's where things get scary again. I am going to be keeping my eyes on Dapper, though. This is a map where we've seen him, especially on the attacking side, really flirt with pushing through mid and causing chaos. Whippy also doing the same thing and finding lurks up through mid and crunching that A site. But it is still a very tall task for G2.
Really is, but if we can see them take map control like they have on other maps to start to take the game, well, that's definitely a win condition they have going for them. Agent Select is ready, though, and so are our casters, so it's time to head on over to them for map number 3 on Icebox.
You're absolutely right, Sierra. We are riling to go. Super ready. The interesting thing about this is, you know, we kind of talked about the successes for both these two teams in the past, but the way that these two teams go about building a composition, vastly different. And oddly enough, after double duelists were seen last map, we're very likely going to see no duelists for M80, which is curious to say the least.
Yeah, indeed, they have been focused on just playing, you know, the double initiator of KO and Sova, and then kind of comboing that with Viper, as well as a Sage and a Killjoy. So we very well could see that. That's both the games they played in the split. That's the comp they used. They won both of those games against OR Esports and Mad Lions. G2, on the other hand, are also really good on Icebox. They're 3-0. And they have shuffled between Raze and Jet as the duelist, but outside of that, they have gone Viper, Sova, Sage, and Killjoy in their own regard. And so that's exactly what you see here. Oxy will be playing the Jet, so that's just kind of the only real pivot that they've ever really made. Then on the opposing side, it's the same composition that lacks a duelist that M80 are going to bring to the table. So no, you know, curveballs here. Both compositions were kind of the ones we expected. And what'll be interesting to see is both these teams have obviously been very good on the defensive side of this map. G2 and all 3 of their wins started on the defense and got at least 8 rounds on the defense against Ascension Esports. They had 10 against Shopify and 9 against FaZe. M80, on the other hand, has shown balance. Like, they were able to make a comeback and get 7 attacking rounds on Mad Lions after tying the first half 6-6. So we'll see how it plays out here, as it will be G2 starting out on the attacking side. This is their first time, I think.
Yeah, first time that they started on the attack, and this is after they came off of 5 straight offensive rounds versus Oxygen in the lower round 3 matchup. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that momentum in what is for sure going to be the swing map in this series. G2 primed up, looking to go over towards A. Aldrin will be the first thing in. And the toxic screen defensively will be blossomed up just because of that. Wall down for Penny, spike behind it, and well, the nano was well predicted, but wasn't quite hit fully, as actually it's the snake bite to deal a lot of the damage to Penny, who's going to try to self-sustain off of that.
Yeah, self-healing here, as it is going to be that big 5-on-5 retake. Nismo able to catch the dome of Oxio at the top of the barrier wall. And so M80 has the edge here quickly, and Penny's low on HP. This is very scary for G2.
Oh, but how about it? Penny actually takes down 1. Walls up defensively, though, trying to go for the quick defuse. Koala move on for halfway. Snake bite, chip in, dealing damage, but John Cutie says, get down, Mr. President. I got you. And Whippy's double will be enough to just see a couple of consolation kills as M80 secured the defuse.
Look at that, man, bro. He's like, this snake bite, no problem. I'll just be holding on to this. I'll just take it, no big deal. Oh, absolutely. I mean, a great counter barrier wall to get that defuse off in the first place. Obviously, a big first frag from Nismo onto Oxy over the top of the attacking barrier. Really kind of helped get that retake going. And that's going to be the name of the game, man. We know how often retakes are required on this map, particularly on those A pushes. G2 going to shift it up here. Try to go for that long B control early. Koala, I think, may have spotted one. Hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at the big, bold red outlines. So
we see everything.
We see everything. There's no hiding here.
It's almost like we're hacking.
True. Well, we absolutely are.
Yes.
In the most professional, kosher way.
Yeah, but for our job, it's, you know, it's okay. It's, oh, Koala.
Yeah.
It's a kill and tags another.
The
and Nismo pumps in too.
Yeah,
I know.
M80 defensively looking solid to stall off this hit, although Nismo does get traded. Sheriff shot connects. Dapper lurking because of course he is.
Why wouldn't he
may catch Sander.
Oh, he does.
That could lead to a plant.
It could. He's going to immediately start reinforcing up the screen's position to try to start buying time for his attacking teammates to make their way over. They're coming back through middle. Dapper, again, is just trying to do as much as he can to allow this spike to make its way onto the sites. Barrier will do the rest of the work, but it gets broken up immediately. Oh, but Dapper gets another!
Shock Dart will get the kill, but not before the spike is planted, and Dapper has a full utility setup, or does he? Shock Dart denies it. It doesn't matter, though. The Sheriffs get the job done. Oh, what heroic that is from Dapper, getting 3 in the round.
After a scrappy second half of Fracture, Icebox kicks off the same way. G2. Dirty with the pistols. Dapper in particular making some huge plays on that kind of just single file attack on A. Able to buy that time for the rotation for the spike to come through and then just clutched out, man. What a play. Now they have full rifles. And it's a full save for M80. All of a sudden, how things pivot.
Oh, absolutely. M80 looking to kind of step in towards an advanced position deep in towards B. And as soon as this toxic screen offensively falls, they're going to confirm that nobody is here. Problem about this is, can you actually hold off this heavy-handed hit on A? I'll drone in. We've got Nismo on one corner. John playing kind of right off the cross. He'll be blocked off by the barrier orb. Wait, they don't see Nismo. Nismo's still alive. What? And he almost gets a second. Great heavens. Spike picked back up. Chance to still play it, but now you've got a snake bite down. Oxy may not survive through this, but the dash comes out. Dapper will try to reinforce this with a nano swarm. Also stepping in towards possibly Vandal action. Good reveal on the backside of a recon bolt from Shazam. Qualinoob looking to hold. Backs off for a second. Hello, Xander does take down one, plus finding a rifle, turns it into a second. Now Qualinoob planning to stick. The slow orb causing some distraction as Whippy, now the last one left. No more snake bites for him to work with. Aldrone will tag. John trying to stick. EU trying to once again hold, but it's John who secures the defuse again, and an eBay Thrifty comes out for M80.
And that is the worst case scenario for G2. It was all classics for M80, but somehow Nismo sneaks in, kills the first spike planter, buys time for a rotation, weapons start getting collected, utility starts being deployed, and slowly but surely M80 with that barrier orb for cover, able to get the spike defuse, and that is a huge blow to G2. They had done so well getting their own Thrifty. And I mean, again, M80 had nothing on that round. And still they pull it. That is, this timeout might be more of a cool off than anything else. This might not be anything tactical going on. This is probably just, hey guys, let's everyone calm down a little bit here.
Are you ready for this, ready for the stat right now all of a sudden with that round?
I'm ready.
You're mentally prepared?
Oh boy, I can't wait.
M80 in light buy rounds. 1 for 15. That's their second true Thrifty that they've won in the entire split.
Wow.
How about that?
I do like that. It's a pretty cool stat.
Lowest percentage win rate in the entire NA league.
The thing is, they are also like top 2 in virtually every other category.
Well, that's true.
When it comes to total rounds won, eco rounds won, half buys won, full buys won, pistol rounds won, economic advantage, economic disadvantage, and full versus full, they are top 3 in all those categories. So you let them slip on one, it's okay. They do lead in everything else, basically. Yeah, that is very much the case.
We'll play in towards Tube here for the side of G2 offensively. Sentry turret will scout some of this out. And look how far forward M80 are. They're actually under threat of being completely split here defensively. Dapper's the only one to really reveal that there's a play coming forward. Barrier Orb just to block off any further contest. But yeah, M80 heavy-handed defensively towards the backside. Nismo turns for it. Viper's Pit is in. Nismo wants to try to play forward.
Oh,
beautiful setup from Nismo. Fragment gets him in. Follow-up is good off the spam, plus the reveal behind it. It's a chef's kiss.
Bro, they made that Viper's Pit look like it was nothing. Just counter frag immediately. Fragment comes through, little peek, a reveal into a wall bang. I mean, that Viper's Pit was, it was nothing, man.
What a weird 4 rounds. It's just one of those series, man. It's one of those series. Null command. Hunter's Fury for M80. Lockdown. Rez ready for G2.
These are 2 very scrappy teams, and so you're going to see a lot of action-packed rounds like this where it's just kind of a slugfest.
Yeah, for real.
I know G2 tries at times to play more of a slower map control style, whereas M80 is more known as that aggressive team. But G2 definitely will kick it into up-tempo quite often themselves. So there's a lot of early clashes that take place because of that between these 2 squads.
Nice shot from Quality. Oxy up top. Only gets a look at one. EU still trying to contest from just the backside. On the Raptor, sees a shoulder, but Shazam, mutual information, takes down his Sova counterpart. Now we go to a 4v3 post-plant, looking to get set up. G2 gonna use the lockdown early to really enforce where they get their positions forward on.
Indeed. We're trying to see the defense poke a little bit before having to run away from this, but they're not going to find anything.
Area's clear.
Long range shots land for Oxy, trade from Xander. 2v3 situation. Snake bites, flashes. That's all they have defensively for M80. Over the top with Damper just completely whiffs. Shazam picks up the pieces, though, leaving Nismo by himself. Not a lot of time to make a play here. And, well, now he's vulnerable. And that will be enough for Nismo to say, I'll take this up and get out of here.
Yeah, very decisive attack there from G2. That 1v1 between Shazam and EU meant the world to G2. It's what gave them the mana advantage. They kept it forward from that point. So fighting back early is G2, not letting M80 get too much momentum, but now M80 has literally all the ults.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
All of them.
All of them.
5 to be exact.
Nice. Good math. Again, this is math you handle nicely. On the other side, the Hunter's Fury could come in, which could be pretty good against a lot of these ults, to be fair.
True. Viper's Pit dropped early to control long B here from A. No surprise there. Obviously, the Viper's Pit is usually trended towards an A anchor tool, but it certainly can be used at long B. Oh boy, what a heads-up win for M80. But instant res.
Oh. With the forward play, Koalanub gets shut down with the operator, so now it's ended with 5-4 Nismo timing. Well read. Hunter's Fury is out. EU looking to further punish the offense, but it's Oxy who actually gets into the fray first. Hunter's Fury completely negated, and now numbers still stand with G2. Barrier orb down, and Oxy shuts down EU on a long crossing angle, leaving John and Xander to consider if they even really want to go for this.
What a weird angle. You have to imagine EU thought he was safe throwing a dart from that spot, but there was just a little sliver that was exposing him, and so G2 able to tie this game up 3 apiece. A beautiful play. You thought at first maybe M80 were gonna kind of put him in a tough spot. They forced the res out of him immediately, but man, oh man.
Defensive round for M80. Viper's Pit, Hunter's Fury off.
Yeah, they spent a good bit there for sure.
So a tight one coming through 6 rounds. We're gonna be tied up at 3. G2 still retaining 4 members will have, I imagine, a small advantage coming into this next round. There's still enough likely to purchase and make this formidable for the defense of M80, and they still also carry things like an old man into lockdown, so they will still have a chance to fight back this round and keep us in this back and forth affair.
Yikes.
I mean, man, just such a sliver there on EU.
Yeah.
He had an instant tag on his Hunter and Fury as well, but just could never complete the frag, so that was another big thing that kind of helped G2 get forward there. And so it looks like they're going to waste no time once again pouncing on this A site with the Allotted leading the way. Noob trying to play that boosted position on top of screens. I don't think it got spotted, so maybe he can pull one over on him.
Defense is pretty heavily stacked here. Just trusting that Xander can lock anything down over towards B. Sentry Turd also kind of watching with the alarm bot in towards the actual Zig itself, so affordability to keep this pretty heavy stacked.
Just really putting a lot of trust in Xander to kind of just keep tabs on B and call for the rotation. If he feels like he's being threatened, they have the alarm bot to guard middle as well as a turret. And John Cutie position to defend against Kitchen, and so G2 indeed will go in for the attack, but Ozzy just got caught, man.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden G2 are stuck behind this defensive toxic screen with not a lot of time to rotate even if they wanted to, so you're going to have to kind of either brute force your way through this or concede the round. Dapper's going to try to step into this. EU on the cross corner. Slow orb will deter any further movement towards his direction. Waldum's still watching his cross as well as footsteps continue to chip away at the ice underneath. Nanostorm through. Doesn't actually get canceled by Nismo, so that angle is now gone. Dapper setting up the sentry turn as soon as this defensive toxic screen drops. He may get some more information off of this. Time is becoming an issue. 20 seconds left, and no. M80 going to clean things up. No kills for G2, and it will be a Sheets flawless for M80.
Yeah, it's beautiful positioning by M80 across the board. Aljon gives him the tip that Oxy is waiting at A, which is kind of a key to understanding where the attack is going to be going if Oxy's there, as well as Xander having tabs on long B the entire time. So good reads from M80, good positioning and excellent fragging, of course, and out. They slow down G2 after they had their little 2-round streak. G2 shifting focus. It's going to be Dapper going for the lurk again at A, while the rest maybe look to get some quick, long B control.
Yeah. Knives are here for Roxy as well. Dapper just trying to create some presence over towards A. Oh, a couple of tags come out towards Koala Noob. Keeps the defenders pretty locked in at A at the moment, even though M80, you can see they want to rotate to B. I think Xander may have caught some information here, but not really a lot of affordability to do that. And actually, M80 are going to re back up towards A.
Yeah, they might just be willing to play the retake. I mean, they have several ults that could be valuable for the retake if it's required.
Sure.
So that may be exactly what they're looking for. Xander's is still kind of jiggling, kind of watching long B. Now he's starting to feel the pressure. Starts to back off. Now he's starting to call for that rotation that we were talking about. I think their big concern is if Dapper's going to lurk him or not. They have to be very careful of that, because that's a tendency of Dapper, particularly at middle, that they're going to have to kind of keep their eyes on. They don't want him to get behind enemy lines and wreak havoc on them.
Xander just needs to go 1-for-1 here. Flash will allow him to try to re-control Yellow on the cross, though. Shazam goes for the first blood. Frag went over the top. Didn't quite get to where it was supposed to go. It landed on top of Yellow instead of behind it. And now G2 are going to rotate back towards Dapper's direction, looking for maybe a late A hit. And the defense is actually in position to deal with this.
Indeed, but Dapper could be a huge problem. He's gotten through that poison orb at middle, and he's now approaching the screen's position, and he might catch this rotation as it's coming in. John Cutie not aware at all. Dapper close on the EU on the side, comes through for 3!
Unbelievable. Now time becoming a problem. Shazam gets 1 kill, but EU locking things in. And M80 will let him know about it.
You are starting to fear the worst from Eddie there, man. When Dapper gets in like that, he cuts off John Cutie's rotation, and everything's coming into A. You feel like it's going to be a beautiful split. But EU just doesn't find himself. Look at this man just hiding behind the box inside the site, bro. He's like, you don't need me, Koala Noob. I'm just gonna chill out here, bro. You do you, man. You do you. What a play from EU, man.
Had to happen. You had to have one of the two that were inside do just that. Had to have it.
Also a nice read to keep the defense in place at A the entire time. Just kind of understanding that G2 might faint.
EU going to be using a lot of his friendly utility to get in to get his Hunter's Fury. Xander. Ooh, screen will go down. Xander's out of there. Okay, he will get out. Orb is going to embellish the entrance towards the site, and John is nearby with the Nanostorm here on the normal default plant position. So this is, again, another position where M80 could possibly defend. Hunter's Fury across the map lands, not just onto one, but onto a second with another elimination behind it. John Cutie still able to get the defense really locked in from the front side of the site. And, oh boy, G2 are just completely caught.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah. Not a whole lot to be done there. Obviously, they were lacking firepower in this round with their economy in disarray. And M80 win it clean, only losing 1 member, so they're really starting to build up a nice reserve of credits. They still have the lockdown and res available. Huge tools to use in a retake situation. Shazam has Hunter's Fury. That's the only ult on the board for G2. They're only a couple off of lockdown in their own right, though. So an orb collection or a couple of frags from Dapper could certainly give them a big weapon to take a site with, as they're now, once again, kind of refocusing their efforts over onto the A side of the map.
Really shock darts M80 looking to get forward with Koala Noob just to delete. Looks like a recon bolt. No further pressure, so.
Nismo, though.
Nismo, goodness, just walks up. And oh, maybe a little bit of extra info there at the very end. Knife will come through, and M80 will be happy with their numbers as they back into a 5v4. G2 still looking to put at least some force here today, though.
That was such a great multi-prong forward press from M80. You got Koala Noob threatening the zipline, push the tower, but then you have Nismo slipping through the bottom. Aldrone gets the intel there onto Penny, so they know that there's still something here. Now they spotted Aldrone from Shazam, so they know at least 2 are here still. Plus they have man advantage.
Dapper gets this blindsided kill. Oh,
the timing.
Goodness. This is a free rotation.
Though, it is, but the defense is moving. Dapper, though, continues to just push more and more deep into enemy lines. It could totally catch someone off guard at this point, as deep as he is in.
He's hearing so much, too, Dust.
Yep. So much intel given. And, I mean, he could get John Cutie for free. John Cutie probably has no idea. They probably think Dapper's playing safe yellow.
Have to think it. More footsteps. Dapper has the jump on Koala Noob. Shots land. Not a second, though. John able to get a nice, quick trade. Lockdown could possibly come into play for this retake now for M80, and that's exactly the call. Whippy trying to hold forward, denied. Hunter's Fury out. Penny on the cross, taken down 2. A little snap on. John low on HP, and Penny responds with a triple of his own.
Your duty is
Indeed, he does, and he's going to be able to get the res onto Whippy to keep their economy in good shape. Not going to have to buy a weapon. He'll be able to get res with that Phantom. And again, it's just Dapper, man. Dapper so crafty on these timings. He's got such good intuition on when he can poke and prod and what he can get away with. Obviously, the last time around when he flanked the middle, the rest of his teammates just kind of fell to EU, so his flank kind of got riddled, useless almost to a degree. But that time around, he just catches Xander in awkward space, able to call for the shuffle. And G2 keeping themselves in the fight here. 6-4 the score with just a couple of rounds left to play in the half. Timeout from M80, who all in all been playing a fantastic defense, must be said.
Yeah, for real.
That was a big round for G2 to at least keep it in contention.
Well, 6-4, M80 discussing it. Would love to get this at least another go for another round here. To really kind of match with what they've done in the past. Again, their defensive halves have been really the star-shining moments in the past. I mean, like we kind of talked about both teams, every time we've seen them play it, have only started on the defensive side, so.
Right. And so Soma's going to have to start attack, and it was G2, and so far, not too shabby.
Not at all. But a lockdown coming into this round for G2. Operator out for the first time here for Koala on this particular angle. He's going to try to watch
used it at A a couple of times. Yep. But, yeah, no avail there. Kind of just gets smoked off. Was an orb allowing Whippy to get into position. And we haven't really seen this other than like one eco round they tried this play.
This is the same early Al drone.
Yep. I mean, this is a very nice multi-prong pressure here from G2, and they're getting a lot of space.
Oh, but Quality gets the read.
Catches it, though.
Yep. Now he just has to hit the shot. Oh, he provides key elimination.
Deploying drone.
toxin screen down.
Scanning ahead.
Yep, and so Shift unfortunately dropped. So taking over from here, we got EU able to find Shazam. So M80 does have the edge. The spike is going to go down on the sights. While Noob gets the res to try to enforce the advantage even more for M80.
Yep. Numbers trying to get their way back in. Dapper still in that mid-cross.
Turret out.
Turret says, no, not this time, Dapper. Does get deleted. M80 on their way forward. Not really focused so much on the flank. Just more about the retake. Oxy up top, though. Oxy up top, though. He gets two. The third one's down low. Doesn't really have a lot of ammunition, but Penny provides the kill. Now down to a 1v1 with John. And no, can't get around the corner. For a second, you thought maybe there was enough damage dealt.
Dude, Oxy certainly tried to stand this man. I mean, just getting up top the way that he did, just slipping through the cracks, able to multi-frag out. But dude, again, I have to point this out. John Cutie is quietly collecting a lot of 1v1 clutches this series.
Yep.
I just want to point that out. I think he had 2 or 3 in the previous map. And he gets one here on Penny. So he is kind of, at times here from Eddie, provided the closing that they needed to get some of these rounds across the finish line, as we have G2 buying what they can, but it's not a whole heck of a lot here on the final round of the half. They do have a lockdown.
Yes. And an opportunity for Oxy maybe to get Blade Storm. Otherwise, yeah, M80 looking pretty primed here, and look how far forward the defense at B is starting to get behind that knife. Not fully committing, saying that we're all clear yet, but you have to think M80 are pretty happy to kind of lean towards A with these forward positions on the B side.
And the big thing is he used 1 orb away from Hunter's Fury, so if he can find a frag, he can shut down the lockdown.
Yep.
He's trying to play for it. Playing an angle here, just trying to watch the 410 cross. The couple right below him. He gets it. Spike down, but not able to get away, but John Key at least gets a trade.
Trade's good for M80. Looking for an 8-4 half for them. Dapper is still going to be allowed to plant.
Spike planted.
Has a lockdown to try to make this difficult. Whippy's playing for a post plant off these snake bites. And the lockdown will be used immediately. Slow orbs already sent in. Fragment, well bounced. Does it have the damage to fully collapse on it? Not quite. So with that, nano swarms are out, and M80 are going to have to find their way back in. Snake bites already spent though from Whippy. He will not have this to stop the defuse. They're going to do this the hard way. Now in the retake, M80 looking to go quickly, as much as they possibly can at least. Barrier orb is up. Nanostorms will stop the initial defuse, but Whippy's going to have to step into this, and as he does, he will drop. But did he kill enough time off? John Cutie to halfway, and yes, he will have enough time for the defuse.
Yeah, he has it by a couple of seconds, I'd imagine. Yeah, 2.5, so not too shabby, as M80 will take the half 8-4.
Switching sides.
So the big defensive halves that these two teams have provided, oftentimes that pattern continues. But now G2 are going to have to do even better here.
Wow. And this may have been one of the first halves that you and I have at least casted and watching for both these teams where it was almost like full purchases every single round. Like all of these rounds came down to 1v1s to 1v2 situations. Like tons of kills left, right, and center.
Indeed.
One half. More so if you're an M80 fan, I imagine.
Yes.
Now into the next pistol. And then G2 are going to run right down through two. Sentry turret will get a read at least onto the first. Orb collected. M80 looking to just box their way in towards B. Right behind the toxic screen. The defense is here, though, for this. Again, ignore your overlay. It is backwards in this round. Poison orb in. Wallenoob still trying to hold for the plant.
Couldn't get it.
Nope.
Too much damage, too much pressure between the decay and the bullets. They will have to back off. This whole time they did have John Cutie still on the A side of the map. Dapper, the only one here defending it for now. So a good chance that they might be able to overwhelm Dapper and at least get a spike plan out of this. What happens from that point forward, there's a whole different story.
Dapper will concede the site. Its utility amounts to not too much. Koala allowed to take the spike in plant. Snake Bites trying to delay any forward pressure. M80 looking to actually largely still hold this from the front as Otzi gets first blood off the reload, looking for more than that. Xander's scouted out up top, but he backs away. Long-range pistol shots now all of a sudden coming through. It's Oxy once again providing the second kill. Up top, Xander trying to get something from that little peek through the toxic screen, but it's not really going to work out too much. EU off the corner denied, and G2 will take the pistol. 8-5 we go.
Yeah, just beautiful retake there from G2. Only lost one member in all of that, Oxy, but he was able to get his before going down to help open up the site for the rest of his team to flood in. And so G2 wasting no time, keeping the game a tight race by collecting this pistol, as they have been one of the more successful pistol round teams in this league.
Agreed.
I want to say they were, I think across the first split, they were at like 60% conversion rate on pistols.
M80's at 63 after the playoffs have come through, and G2's at 56. Both of them are in the top 4.
Okay. So it dropped a little bit during mid-season face-off, but still one of the upper echelon pistol teams and challengers for sure.
Well, the last round was deadly enough for M80 to force into 5 stingers, and boy, are they coming and coming quickly. Oxy gets out of dodge. That's actually pretty key because he needs to get this rifle up. Penny in the corner, spamming things away. Deals damage to a second after finding the first. But still, ultimately, M80 get the plant that they want. Just comes down to how do you set up this post plant as G2 starts to restructure.
Yeah, they're able to even collect that fallen rifle.
What a
That's going to be
nano.
another question. The barrier orb actually blocks him from getting to the rifle, and Dapper's actually able to pick it up. So it's going to be this 4-on-4 firepower favoring G2. They don't really have much position to work with.
Have to come into the fray. Oh, well done from Dapper to get the first. EU doubles up down low. Whippy off the drop. Only gets one, though. Koala Noob just kind of strafes him. And now it's just down to Dapper for 1v2. First one's free. Second one he's going to have to work for, though. As John's on the opposite corner, Dapper's going to get this to halfway and then immediately hop off. Tries to predict the cross. Doesn't predict it correctly, though. And then finally he gets an opportunity, but John's just throwing shoulders. And no chance here for the defuse to come through. John secures the kill, and M80 respond with their Stinger force buy.
It's another John Cutie 1v1 clutch shift.
Count it.
I mean, he's up there right now. He has been the closer. Don't get me wrong, his teammates did a ton of work to put him in that position, particularly EU. Getting that double kill at the Stinger was massive. But he has played out these 1v1s so well today to keep his team out in front. Again, that's got to be like his 5th or 6th clutch today.
Yeah, we could take a look after the map. I'm sure the desk is already scrambling to get the numbers, but yeah, you're right. It felt like it's been a lot, kind of like the same thing we said in map number 1 on Oxy's First Bloods, and you were right then. So I trust your judgment on that one, brother.
I try.
You try and you do well.
As G2 coming to this one on the back foot, couple of sheriffs, a Marshall and a Stinger. M80 kind of aware of the situation, playing back and anticipating G2 might go for something aggressive. Instead, G2 are just looking to hold forward position and not push it too much further than that. But, I mean, this Stinger from Dapper up this close is so deadly.
Ooh. Ismo down to 4 HP, but he survives. Walladoob will be able to get him back to full. EU with that orb, he also earns the Hunter's Fury. So extra tools here if M80 need them. Whip be holding on the backside of yellow. Recon bolt comes out. He'll be looking for the cross, but actually he can't do Oxy with the Sheriff in hand. Is there anyone better? Is there anyone better? Oh my goodness, Oxy gets 3. Shazam for the 1v1. He's got a Marshall and 85 HP against a full health EU, and the shot lands. It just doesn't quite catch the head, and M80 get the 10.
Oh, man, but was it a very dire road to it, bro? I mean, like you said, Oxy was popping him with the Sheriff and made things very stressful. EU had to win a 1v1 against Shazam, and he had to tank a bullet to do it, but lands the headshot required to get the job done. But that is a lot of rebound that M80 has to do. That's a very expensive round. They have a Bulldog for Xander. John Cutie's still kind of fumbling with what he wants to bring into this round. It's like it's going to be Sheriff to be able to maximize utility. Xander actually chooses
Deploying drone.
to stick with the Bulldog. Look, he was going to sell it back for a moment, but keeps it in the end.
This is a key round for G2. You have to have this one, you think?
Oh, for sure. Oh, the Oxy Stone just got spotted, just barely.
He survives with 79 HP. Gone first one to Oxy. Goodness, the Sheriff shots this game. Are you kidding me?
Dude, it's like the Oprah Winfrey show and everyone's getting dealt out Sheriff shots in the crowd. Good Lord. You have a Sheriff. Now you have a Sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take the, the cash or the car, whatever the heck else she gives away over Sheriff shots. But hey, they look cool.
G2's going to have to save.
Yep.
Wow.
And M80 have now firmly grabbed control of this game. It was touch and go there for a bit in the first half, but M80 went in the first half 8-4 defensively. Win a big early round in this half, and they're following it up nicely.
Yep.
This time a flawless win, so they can start building up those credits.
Yeah, it's come in a number of very interesting ways. We had, the early thrifties in the first half. You already mentioned John Cutie and all of his unbelievable saves for rounds. But I think the big trend and the big kind of difference maker so far has really been that force buy that you see in round 14. The 5-man Stinger play turns away the opportunity for G2 to get a couple of rounds and play for a bonus. And the result is 3 straight for M80. Where there will still be purchase here for G2 and support from the Knives. So they're not out of the realm of possibility of still taking this round, but boy, they need it.
Yeah, it's not quite do or die for G2, but it's pretty darn close as far as this map is concerned. Oxy has the Blade Storm. They have the Guardian on Shazam. Bulldog for Penny. Oxy trying to go for something a little bit aggressive at Long B, but gets caught. He can get healed by Penny, though. Once they meet up, which they will do. Shazam, in the meantime, catches a pick across middle.
Interestingly enough, Walladoob re-changes over towards B. Everyone's going to sneak back through. So the defense, seeing the initial cross, is for the time being going to lean towards A. But you see the second guessing coming out of Oxy. He's back up top now all of a sudden and towards Kitchen.
Yeah, and he's been healed back as well, so he's ready to fight, though he doesn't have any armor. Blades are still out. M80 grab an orb here.
Res.
Building up the res for Koala Noob. Hunter's Fury also available here for EU to maybe pave their way into a site. The res is going to come up immediately to pick up Xander, who had fallen at mid. Oxy trying to run it down. There's a lot of reveal there, but he's unable to lay the Blade Storm, and Koala picks off Shazam, and now B becomes vulnerable.
And those were, what, 3 knives spent for Oxy right there, trying to get the desperate play?
Yep.
So he has to hit a
30
headshot.
seconds left.
Whippy, 1 snake bite to try to delay. The rest of G2's defense trying to make their way over, and that snake bite is blocked by the barrier orb, so that's going to be a safe plant now all of a sudden. Oxy up top does not have the blades out at the moment. Yeah, he just has 2 remaining. Has to connect. And well, he's got to also deal with the sentry turret first. What's the play here? No updrafts, no dashes as well. And as Penny drops, M80 looking prime to take the round and put themselves on a key swing map point. Oxy also down to another 6 HP situation. Takes down the first. Nismo responds. Oxy no reset, and M80 clean things up. 12-5 and map point here on Icebox.
Just such a beautifully played round from M80. Even though they lose a member early at middle, they're able to get orb, get the res, get him back into the fight. Do so much damage to Oxy. Never really let him pop off with the Blade Storm. Dictate the pace of the round at B the entire time. And now they come into this round. Once again, slight firepower advantage, and they certainly have the ult advantage. Whippy's 1 away from Viper's Pit. Penny 1 off of a res, but outside of that, the ults are owned by M80. Hunter's Fury and Null Command.
Enemy tag.
All 2 spotted with the solid drone.
Yep. Whippy, has he been heard with that little jump? M80 are coming across silently. Whippy, long range, no, does not land the shots needed. Null Command immediately afterwards. That is floodgates opened up for M80. Barrier orb down, spike will be planted, and it's all down to this for G2. 4v5 retake required. Lockdown at the ready. Well timed. Slow orbs are out, but there's not going to be any follow-up here. Flash over the top just to make sure no one's playing forward for M80. They still have slow orbs of their own. Nice shock dart placement. There's a little bit of chunk damage, but largely speaking, M80 are fine. Oh, and just caught through the toxic screen as Oxy trying to be the tip of the spear. Nismo taking the round into his hands. Hunter's Fury is out. They can feel it. A map 3 win on the way. It's just Dapper standing in their path, and no, he can only do so much. 13-5, M80 take the edge in the series.
Indeed, they do. 2 behemoths on the defensive side of Icebox clash, with each team having a very successful record, but it's M80 dealing G2 their first loss on this map after they had a 4-game winning streak throughout the split. And it came down to the fact that M80 just had such a strong attacking side, man. Like, they were just so good at pressuring multiple ends of the map at the same time. They had good reads. They were trading very effectively. Their utility usage was on point. And they just continue to kind of show that they're one of the best teams in the region. I mean, they dominated, you know, G2 on that map. G2, the thing is, in their 3 wins, they weren't even allowing their opponent double digits. So to get put in that place by the opposition, I'm sure is not the greatest feel. But now M80 owns a 2-1 lead in this best of 5, and G2's in do or die mode right now.
And it goes to Pearl. Ooh, lots of things to think about, more to talk about, but we'll save that for the desk to get things going. We'll be right back after the break. Map 4 on the way. Don't you go anywhere. Just stay here, okay? See you soon.
One down. One enemy remaining. Enemy remaining. Player standing. Spike down. Remaining. One enemy remaining. Attackers win.
How many weapons have burst fire? So the Bulldog, the Classic, the Stinger. I think that's it. That has to be it, yeah.
2. Bulldog, Stinger, and... Oh, wait. Bulldogs? Oh, the classic. I forgot that the 3 is considered first, bro. Oh my god.
Trying to think. Just 2, right? I only thought of Stinger and Classic. Oh yeah, the Bulldog. I don't know how I think about that now. Yeah.
Burst fire weapons? Oh, let me think. 3? Done.
August 18th, I think. No. Wait, 2020 though, right?
August 18. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I knew it was in January. I knew it was either August or April.
The first one you said, 100%. I got the first key.
April. The April one. Yes. April 7th. Yeah, that sounds right. I remember April.
Ascent. I knew it. I'm passing.
Ascent. Very good. I only knew that because Split and Haven were the 2 like originals. And then I switched to the game. Right when I switched to the game, Ascent came out. Like around that time, so I'm like, okay.
Ascent. 100% Ascent.
Ascent. I'm pretty sure. Done. Flawless. Hey, I got my knowledge, man. I've been playing.
That's boy. I remember this.
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to think. Oh, this is boy. No, I just remember watching this clip on Twitter. He posted it, and I it was the way he like flick ADS. I like knew that was him instantly.
Oh boy, on Ascent. He was on BBG. Yeah. This is just like the best ace in the game in a match at least.
Oh, well, how could I forget? This is boy when he was on. It just spawned with like 100 tweets of, "Oh my God, boy's insane." Yeah. This is boy.
This guy just moves like Asuna. This has to be Asuna. Yeah, that's Asuna for sure. No, I don't know. It's so annoying, dude. I think his crosshair, the fact he's on Arena on this map, and like the way he moves his mouse, I instantly could just tell. And the rope.
I mean, this is just obvious, no? Asuna. Reyna. Reyna on Icebox, yeah. I've never seen another Reyna on Icebox. And it's his crosshair. I know his crosshair.
Asuna, because the crosshair in the skin. And the Icebox he's on Reyna, because I can tell by the hand. I know a lot about people, bro. No, I know a lot about people like skins and like crosshairs and stuff like that.
Okay. Icebox clip. Reyna. Okay, I saw the orb. And the rope. This is Asuna. Oh yeah, this is Asuna's play, the rope play. For sure. Yeah, as soon as I saw him take the rope, it had to be Asuna. Had to be.
EU. I can already tell you what it is. EU. Oh, I love this one. The second I saw the skin, I knew it was him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a good player, but it's a EU. Yeah, no, I knew who you were picking up, bro. And I saw like, I had to make sure I rewatched this clip a few times, see if it was fluke or not.
EU against Guard, and he was on energy. I forget what it was, but it was during Masters 2. I'm pretty sure.
No, man. You guys had to throw this one in there. This is EU. This is EU. Of course, I remember this. Like, this is stuck in my memory for a very long time. 1v5.